You know, that Olympic spirit you're saying. See, Olympic spirit, I think the Olympic spirit is you finding your calling and becoming the best you can be. And so Olympic spirit is not necessarily as an athlete. It could be as a doctor. It could be as a teacher. It could be as a policeman. It's finding your passion. And that's what we found, our passion in our sport. And I think also taking that passion and turning it into something after you compete, finding that again, because we'll always have that drive to be the best. And, you know, I always talk to athletes, I said, you know, find your passion. You're never going to always be so great at something, but you'll find something else and you'll put that same process and you'll put that same determination into something else. And, you know, I work in human resources now, and it's funny because I tell people, find an athlete that there was a collegiate athlete, a high school athlete, an Olympic caliber athlete. Those are the people you want because they know how to set goals, they know how to go about achieving, and they know how to win.
Yep.
And life is a competition in some ways. I mean, and that's what we've got to do, you know?
Yep, round 2, right? So round 1 was like our athletic career.
Exactly.
And then even I had to like figure out round 2.
Yes.
Which is almost more challenging. It was more challenging for me than round 1 because I kind of knew, I fell into like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
But it was really hard.
It really is hard. And I think, it's getting harder and harder. I mean, at my age, which I turned 60, I turned 61 tomorrow.
No way. Happy birthday.
I was like, wait a second, it's tomorrow. I turned 61 tomorrow. We didn't have as much support from the Olympic Committee, from the money, to all of those things. And so we were juggling. You know, I was taking a full-time load in college while I was competing. Athletes don't do that now, and it's a disservice because I think one of the best things I could have done as an athlete competing was have school, because I had that balance.
Yeah.
You need the balance in order for you to become and to be a full person.
Have to manage
You
your time.
have to be able to manage your time. And I think you're better when you're busy than you are when you're not, because then you focus in and you set stuff up. And I think a lot of athletes have too much time on their hands.
Yes.
And they struggle with figuring out what to do, or they're idle and then they get into mess.
Yeah. Idle hands are the devil's.
Yes.
Right?
And I think that's a problem. So I think it's extremely important for athletes now to continue with their education, making sure they're looking for something else that's going to be their future. Because I don't care how much money you make, if you're not intelligent enough to manage it, you're going to be back in the same boat.
Right. So speaking of round 2, so what are you doing now? You said HR, right?
Well, I'm on round 3.
You're on round 3. Well, we can have like as many rounds as we want. Right?
Exactly.
I mean,
so I started out as a track and field athlete, obviously. Then I moved into commentary. I did commentary for over 20 years.
Yes.
And then after 2008, which the Olympic Games started on 08 at 8:08 on my birthday.
Wow.
So that was really cool. That was my last Olympics I did truly for television. And I was kind of tired of it. And so I said, what can I do? And I said, I've worked in hotels. I could work in a hotel. I've stayed in a lot of hotels. I know what that is. So I started in hotels, and I ended up in human resources, and now I'm a human resources director.
Okay.
So I'm in round 3. I've got my master's degree. I'm a certified human resources professional. So, and I've done that for like the last 15 years. So, you know, and this is my, you know, who knows if this is my swan song. I might be making another left-hand turn. But that's another thing. You know what? Don't be afraid to make a left turn.
Yeah.
And be off to the races. You know what I mean? You know, for me, I feel like anybody who's accomplished anything in athletics, they know what it takes, and they can do it. And be confident in yourself. Because as an athlete, you have to be confident in yourself, because you have to understand that there's times when everybody else is doubting you. But if you're doubting yourself, you're done.
Yes.
So you've got to have that swagger. You have to have that swagger.
And I think a pivot is a great thing. Once you figure out putting a lot of energy into something that's not really moving the needle, and you really want the needle to be moved, you have to kind of make that pivot in order to free up that energy to be really good at something else.
And then I think also too, sometimes, that whole, when a door shuts, the window open, that can be something too. I think a lot of athletes now, because of all the support they get, they stay in their sport too long. A lot of athletes are staying in the sport way too long, and they are not taking that opportunity to be daring enough to go after something else. You have athletes who, let's say they made an Olympic team or something like that, and they really truly kind of know in deep in their heart that they should be moving on, and they don't, and they're missing a window. But I also think that's indicative of not having that mental and physical preparation for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you have a bachelor's degree or have a master's degree or something, even if you don't use it yet, you still have it. So there's your springboard. But if you don't get it, and then all of a sudden you completely stop sports, and then you're starting at square one and you're 28, you're behind, because so many other 28-year-olds are looking so much further in front of you. So that's why you should always, even if you're just taking one class a semester. I did my master's degree one class a semester. It took me a long time, but I was still doing the other stuff. But you know what? Keep learning, because that's also going to be a positive for you in terms of a lot of sports. When you're out there competing, you've got to be able to figure it out. So all of that critical thinking that you might be doing on a piece of paper and within your classes, that's critical thinking that you're going to use while you're competing.
Right. I love that. I mean, it's so important to recognize when it's that moment that you might need to consider quitting. I hate the word quit, but like I always say,
you're moving on.
When to quit.
No, moving on.
Yeah, you
absolutely.
move on. You move on.
And this is my time.
Another door.
Yeah.
Right. And it happens in corporate America as well. Not
absolutely.
Just with athletes, where people stay in a job or in a career for far too long.
Absolutely.
And in the back of it.
And they're also not happy. Yeah. They don't see any, or you're in a job where there's the ceiling is there. And not necessarily that, the ceiling they say for women or anything like that, but you're at the top end of your role in a particular organization. You love the organization, but you're not going to continue to move up because there's nowhere for you to go. That's your time where you may need to look for something else.
Yeah.
And it's a hard decision sometimes, but you know what? I think when you move to that other thing, you're going to be happy. But also on the other side of that, also understand that you may never find the perfect job. You may not, you may not be in a role that is perfect for you, but you can learn a lot about yourself within that role, and that role can really help you move on to something great. It is, whether you like it or not. So.
Well, thank you so much. Okay, so real quick though, favorite Olympics?
Watching, competing, commentating? Watching. Ooh. I think maybe 96.
Yeah.
I think maybe 96. Because that was Carl's last Olympics, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch. My whole family was there. Everybody was there and stuff like that. So that was a fun one to watch.
Favorite sport to watch other than track and field?
Tennis.
What would you be doing if you weren't track and field? What sport?
Tennis. I play tennis now. I mean, I play a lot of tennis.
Okay.
And like I said, my husband and I, we go to tennis camps and stuff, but we love it. It's really fun.
Okay, final question.
Yes.
Favorite cuisine?
Italian.
I know what you're going to say.
Italian.
Parliamo italiano.
Sì, tutte e due.
Sì, tutte e due. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So good talking to you.
Okay, thanks.